OpenAI just quietly gave GPT-5 an ability they never announced, and it changes everything. Stop. Seriously, stop scrolling for 1 second. Because what just happened in the last 48 hours in AI is genuinely one of the most insane things I have ever covered. OpenAI dropped GPT-5. And yeah, sure, everyone's talking about the benchmarks, the reasoning scores, the multimodal upgrades, but nobody, and I mean nobody, is talking about the hidden capability buried inside this model that they barely mentioned in the fine print. We're talking about something that could completely rewire how you use AI forever. And when you hear what early testers are already doing with it, your jaw is going to hit the floor. We're breaking down exactly what GPT-5 can actually do, why researchers are quietly freaking out, why this has massive implications for your job, your creative work, and honestly, the entire internet. But first, what they're not telling you about this launch is the part that should genuinely scare you a little. Okay, so let's set the scene. OpenAI drops GPT-5, the internet goes crazy. Tech Twitter is losing its mind. And on the surface, it looks like a standard upgrade. Better reasoning, faster responses, improved multimodal capabilities. Cool, right? But here's the thing. That's the version they wanted you to focus on. Because if you actually dig into the technical report, and I mean really dig, like page 47 stuff, you find something that was mentioned almost in passing. GPT-5 has what researchers are now calling persistent contextual modeling at a scale that no previous model has ever had publicly. What does that mean in plain English? This model doesn't just answer your question. It builds a running, evolving understanding of you across a session that mimics, and I'm not exaggerating here, something frighteningly close to actual working memory. Previous GPT models? They forgot everything the moment the conversation ended. GPT-5? Early access testers are reporting it maintains contextual threads, picks up on your communication style, and starts anticipating what you're about to ask before you ask it. Can you believe that? One developer on X posted a thread, which has now gone absolutely viral, showing a 3-hour coding session where GPT-5 not only remembered every decision made in hour 1, but proactively flagged a conflict with those decisions in hour 3. Unprompted. It just caught it. That is not a chatbot behavior. That is assistant behavior. That is something completely different, and OpenAI basically slid it under the radar. But wait, it gets worse. Okay, stop for a second, because I need you to actually grasp how big this is. Every AI model before GPT-5, Claude, Gemini, even previous GPTs, they all operated in what's called a stateless environment. Every conversation is a blank slate. That's actually been a fundamental safety feature. It's also been the biggest limitation. Researchers have been trying to crack persistent memory in a safe, controllable way for years. And GPT-5 just did it. Kind of. Here's the kicker. It's not perfect memory. It's not surveillance-level recall. What it actually does is something more subtle and honestly more impressive. It builds what early testers are calling a context fingerprint of how you communicate, what your goals are, what your knowledge level is, and it uses that fingerprint to shape every single response in real time. So the GPT-5 that your doctor uses sounds different from the GPT-5 your teenager uses. Same model, completely different behavior. Adapted on the fly. Now, why are researchers freaking out? Because this capability combined with GPT-5's upgraded agentic tools, meaning its ability to actually take actions on your behalf, browse, write code, execute tasks, creates something the AI safety community has been warning about for 2 years. An AI that knows you and can act for you. That combo is either the most useful tool ever built or, depending on who you ask, a genuinely significant alignment risk. I've seen 3 separate AI safety researchers post about this in the last 24 hours alone. And the response from OpenAI? Crickets. But what early users are already doing with this? That's the part nobody is ready for. This is the section that made me want to make this video, because forget the technical stuff for a second. Let's talk about what real people, developers, creators, researchers, regular users with early access, are actually doing with GPT-5 right now. And it is wild. A UX designer in Berlin posted a workflow where she loaded her entire brand-style guide, her client history, her past project notes, into a single GPT-5 session. And then she just talked to it, like a creative partner. And GPT-5 didn't just reference the documents. It started making connections she hadn't made. It flagged that a new client brief had tonality that conflicted with 3 previous successful projects. It suggested an approach based on patterns it identified from her own past work. She said, and this is a direct quote, "I felt like I was talking to a version of myself that had better memory than me." That is insane. Then there's the medical side. A research team at a university hospital, I'm not naming them because they haven't officially published yet, is using GPT-5 to cross-reference patient case notes with medical literature in real time during consultations, not after. During. The doctor talks, GPT-5 listens, builds context, and surfaces relevant studies the doctor might not have recalled. One researcher described it as having a genius medical student who never forgets anything in the room. And then, and this one genuinely blew my mind, a game developer showed GPT-5 generating not just game dialogue, but adaptive storylines that changed based on a player's demonstrated preferences from earlier in the session. Emergent narrative, in real time. From a chat model, the line between tool and collaborator is basically gone now. And that raises a question that I think is going to define the next 12 months of AI. All right, here's where I have to be honest with you. Because not everything about this is hype and excitement. There's a real conversation we need to have. When an AI model starts developing a contextual fingerprint of you, your communication style, your decision patterns, your knowledge gaps, who owns that data? OpenAI's current terms are vague. Really vague. Like uncomfortably vague. Privacy researchers have already flagged that the persistent contextual modeling system could, in theory, build behavioral profiles that are more detailed and more accurate than anything social media has ever collected on you. Because social media watches what you click. GPT-5 watches how you think. That is a completely different level of data. And the job thing, look, I know everyone is tired of the AI will take your job conversation. But this is different. This isn't about automation of physical or repetitive tasks anymore. GPT-5's contextual capabilities mean that knowledge work, the stuff that was supposed to be safe, is now in the crosshairs. Not because AI replaces the human, but because one human using GPT-5 can now do the work of 3 or 4 humans who aren't. That productivity gap is going to start showing up in hiring decisions by the end of this year. Guaranteed. But here's the thing, and this is genuinely important. The people who learn to work with this capability right now are going to have an insane advantage. The context fingerprint works for you if you understand how to load it properly. There are already prompting strategies circulating that maximize GPT-5's contextual persistence in ways OpenAI hasn't officially documented. Early adopters are building those workflows right now. Are you? Because the window to get ahead of this is small, and it's closing fast. And what's coming in the next OpenAI release, the hints they've already dropped, is going to make GPT-5 look like a warm-up act. Okay, so I saved this for last because this is the part that has me genuinely buzzing. Because GPT-5 isn't the finish line. It's not even close. Sam Altman has been doing this thing lately. And if you follow him closely, you've noticed it, where he drops these almost throwaway comments in interviews and podcasts that, when you actually unpack them, are absolutely loaded with implication. 3 weeks ago, in a podcast interview, he said, casually, like it was nothing, that the next milestone for OpenAI isn't about making models smarter in the traditional sense. It's about making them more agentic and more continuous. Continuous. He used that word specifically. And in AI research, continuous means a model that doesn't just respond to prompts. It's running, constantly, in the background, monitoring, updating, acting. We're talking about an AI that doesn't wait for you to ask. It's already working on your behalf, already anticipating, already executing. If GPT-5's context fingerprint felt like a big jump, imagine that fingerprint running 24/7, connected to your calendar, your email, your files, your smart devices. That's not science fiction. Altman is describing a 12 to 18-month roadmap. And honestly, based on what GPT-5 already quietly shipped, I believe him. The AI that waits for your command is the old AI. What's coming is an AI that works while you sleep, and the world is not ready for that conversation. But you just heard it first. Look, if this video opened your eyes even a little bit, smash that subscribe button right now. I am not kidding, because the stuff I just covered, that's today. I'm already working on the next video tracking what happens as GPT-5 rolls out to everyone. And trust me, the next 30 days are going to be absolutely insane to cover. Hit subscribe so you don't miss it. And I want to know, drop it in the comments right now. Are you excited about GPT-5's memory capabilities, or does it genuinely freak you out a little? There's no wrong